First things first, let's filter this at least to only get books that this user, current users logged in, added. Okay, not just all of the books that have been added. It's a very simple process actually. Let's get rid of all of these other classes or tabs that we no longer need. Main screen there. So let's start with this top book. Let's go to the top here. It's this stream here. All right, let's get rid of this because we no longer need that. So we're going to do the same thing as you see here. We say this where and pass the user, and we check to make sure this user is the current ID, and we check if this user is equal to the current user Firebase auth. So it's the same concept. So before making all to list, right here I'm going to say dot invoke the where method, and this where method here is really interesting because it passes all the information that we need. So I'm going to convert this to a block body. So this element, if you hover over, is a book element, so it's a book object. So we need to compare to see if the book user ID, right, this user ID here, if the book user ID is equal to the current user who is signed in. Then we're going to get the correct books, right, for this user. So instead of element, we could leave it. I'm going to say book, right, to be more explicit there. And what we're going to return is not false. We're going to return the correct book. So we're going to do a comparison here. I'm going to put instead of parentheses. So I'm going to say book object dot user ID is equal to the current user who is logged in. So I'm going to just say Firebase auth instance the current user dot UI ID. So if that's true, let's put this back there. If that's true, then all the books that are going to be returned in our user book filtered read list stream, a long variable there, name, we're only going to have the books for this current user. This is good. Let's see if this works. Because Paolo is the one who is logged in, or was last logged in, we should only see one book. Oh, well, we see nothing because Paolo doesn't look like Paolo has added any book. Correct. He hasn't added any books. That's why there's nothing here. If that's true, so NQG, that should be the other user. Let's go to authentication. Right. Paolo is VFHZ. Let's just make sure, because I thought we had added one, but apparently we did not. So let's look at this one. This is still John. Let's look at this last one. Not Paolo. Not Paolo who added. So this doesn't lie. That means it's true. So at the bottom here, this reading list is still showing this because we haven't filtered the list. But this top list here, well, it doesn't show anything because there's no books for Paolo. Okay. If I do the same thing, the same concept, if I go back, I'm just going to copy this. Go at the bottom to where we have another list like this. If I save this, you're going to see the same thing happening. We should have no list except in this one here because we added this no book found. Add a book, it's going to show that text because Paolo hasn't added any. And voila, you can see no books found, add a book, and it's empty. However, if Paolo, it's kind of weird saying Paolo, my own name. Anyway, Flutter development, let's add one book. Mr. Paolo needs to learn some Flutter development. All right, let's pick one. There's this one. I'm going to read. I'm going to save that. Go back. We should see. There we go. One book is added. Very good. So it's working. If I go out or log out and go back as John at me.com and pass in the password and click, you should see a lot of books. But these books, all of them, are John's books. Okay, most of them at least, but some of them are not John because this is still John. This is still John, and this is Paolo because that's, see, there's the ID there. Okay, so the filtering is working. This is really good.